Okay, let's get into this. When you think about a search for a murder victim, you probably picture, I don't know, a police team sweeping a quiet field, maybe a woodland area.
Right, something methodical, almost serene.
Exactly. But today, we are going to explore a search scene that was the complete opposite, a mountain of commercial waste. We're talking about Essex's largest rubbish tip.
And that image, a massive commercial landfill, it just immediately captures the uh, the almost insurmountable challenge detectives faced in this case. This deep dive is all about the murder of 45-year-old Cumali Turhan in November of 2024.
Yeah, and our sources show a case that moves from what looks like a classic crime of passion, a really frenzied, horrific attack over a love triangle, to this completely unprecedented logistical operation.
It's a study in commitment, really.
So our mission today is to, try to understand the psychology behind that shocking violence, and then explore how the police pulled off what can only be described as a miracle, recovering a body from a huge active landfill after 47 days.
A miracle of determination, definitely. You have one man's commitment to destroying another out of jealousy, and then you have law enforcement's relentless commitment to find justice and give dignity back to that victim.
And what's so chilling right at the start is that the victim and his alleged killer, a man named Ceyhan Dinler, they weren't like enemies hiding from each other. They were seen together just moments before it all happened.
That's the part that's so disturbing. CCTV footage shows them, Cumali and Dinler, actually laughing together. They're having drinks at the Globe pub in Chelmsford late on November 17th.
Just enjoying a night out.
It looks that way.
Mm.
That appearance of friendship is just a terrible mask for what was about to unfold. Around 10:30 p.m., the cameras tracked them, leaving the Globe and walking towards the barista bar, which Dinler managed. And that bar, that became the epicenter of the whole thing.
So if we follow the timeline, this is where the investigation starts playing catch up, right? A friend reports Cumali missing, what, 24 hours after he went to the pub?
Exactly. And the detectives, they go straight to CCTV. The footage shows Cumali and another man going into the closed barista bar. Hours go by, and then only one man leaves. The unidentified man, who they later confirm is Dinler.
Cumali Turhan never walked out.
He never did. And crucially, by the time that missing person report was even filed, the detectives realized they were already 36 hours behind.
So when they finally get inside the barista bar, I imagine their suspicions changed pretty fast from a missing person case to something else.
Oh, immediately. The scene was horrifying. Investigators found blood smeared across the walls, across the floor. It was evidence of a really sustained, violent, and just frenzied attack.
So they knew a murder had happened there.
Without a doubt, the sheer volume of blood confirmed it. But the single most important piece of evidence, the victim, he was gone.
And at this point, the focus shifts to motive, and it seems to have centered pretty quickly on Dinler's jealousy.
Yes. The police figured out the motive through an accomplice, a guy named Ili Cyprian Joseph, who they arrested pretty soon after the disappearance. Ailey told them that Dinler claimed Cumali had tried to steal his girlfriend.
And this wasn't just a sudden rage. I mean, sources mention witnesses had heard Dinler threatening to kill Cumali before this. They described him as quite possessive.
Very possessive.
Yeah.
But to get the full picture, you also have to understand the personal tragedy in Cumali's own life, which, maybe made him more vulnerable.
Right, that background provides such vital human context.
His ex-partner, Brittany Davies, she said he never really got over the loss of their twin boy. He struggled badly, started drinking heavily, and it led to a lot of anger, a lot of difficulty coping.
And his last message to her, it's just heartbreaking.
It really is. It said, "I am sorry for everything. I am sorry I failed my family." Just paints this picture of a man already battling so much darkness, who then walks into a physical threat he might not have seen coming.
That transition from a shared drink to this act of just pure psychological rage, it sets the stage for the cover-up. Let's talk about the accomplice, Ili Cyprian Joseph, and what they did to try and erase the evidence.
Well, Ili admitted he was involved in cleaning up that horrific scene. At first, his story was that he was forced into it. He claimed Dinler, who he called Jay, threatened him with a knife and made him help clean up the blood and dispose of the body.
Ow!
By putting it into the commercial bin out the back of the barista bar.
But the police didn't just take his word for it, I assume. What evidence did they have to challenge that story of him being forced?
Two key things. First, forensics. While Ili helped clean, It was Dinler's fingerprints they found in the victim's blood inside the bar. So that nails the main perpetrator.
Okay.
But the second piece, the thing that really damaged Ellie's defense, was the CCTV footage of his own actions right after the murder.
And what's so incredible here is just how close he was to safety.
Exactly. The police station was literally described as a minute walk from Barista. But the cameras showed Ely leaving the bar for a couple of hours, and then he comes back. Of his own accord. He never went for help.
That shows a choice. He wasn't just a victim of coercion. He was an active participant in the cover-up.
Absolutely. And while all this is happening, while police are processing the crime scene and breaking down his story, the victim's body is already on the move.
Because Dinler knew the bin schedule.
He knew it perfectly from managing the bar. Crime scene investigators confirmed the bins had been emptied. And DCI Metcalf noted that Dinler fled the country incredibly quickly. He was on a flight out of Stansted on November 19th.
The same day Cumali was reported missing.
The very same day. He used the city's infrastructure to dispose of the body, then its travel infrastructure to escape.
And this is where the case just shifts into something completely different. It's not a normal manhunt anymore. It's a recovery mission against, well, impossible odds.
The difficulty of this, it just can't be overstated. When a body goes into a commercial bin lorry, the blades inside, the compactors, they're designed to macerate everything.
To shred it.
To shred it into small pieces. Experts told the police the chances of recovery were very, very low. It's the biggest needle in a haystack scenario you can possibly imagine.
So how did they even know where to start looking? It's a massive landfill.
Meticulous police work.
Oh.
They had to identify the exact wheelie bin, trace the specific lorry that serviced that route, and then pinpoint exactly where in the massive Everett waste site that lorry had dumped its load. They basically had to isolate one truckload out of a constant stream of garbage.
Even so, the scale of that task is just immense. Our sources say it cost around $250,000 a week.
Per week.
Which raises the big question. Why? Why sustain a search that expensive when the odds are so heavily stacked against you?
And this is where you see the sheer determination of DCI Metcalf and her team. She laid out two critical reasons. The first was ethical, the absolute need for dignity in death, for the family, for the victim. You can't just let a person be thrown away like trash.
Right. It's about undoing that ultimate act of disrespect.
Precisely. And the second reason was purely legal.
You need a body to secure a murder conviction.
It makes it exponentially easier. She stressed the legal necessity to prove there has been a murder. Without the body to show cause of death, the wounds, the case against a fugitive like Dinler becomes much, much harder. That 250,000 pounds a week was an investment in justice.
So the officers committed. The reports describe 47 straight days of 10-hour shifts. Can you just paint a picture of what that must have been like?
Physically and psychologically draining. I mean, imagine for almost 7 weeks, sifting through 1,500 tons of decomposing commercial waste. It covered an area the size of a football pitch, piled 5 meters deep. The smell, the conditions. It's an unbelievable environment to work in.
47 days of that. Just hoping to find fragments.
Yeah.
And then they did it.
Against all odds, on January 11th, 2025, the search team recovered Cumali's body. And here is the truly incredible part. It was recovered intact.
Well, and after going through the bin lorry.
It's a logistical miracle. And it's believed to be the first time an active police search in the UK has ever successfully recovered a body from a landfill. A historic achievement.
And that recovery, as much of a victory as it was for the police, it also led to even more horrifying discoveries about the violence.
It did, because when officers went back and examined a separate rubbish bin, one still inside the barista bar, they found something else.
What was it?
They found a severed human penis and the tip of a human tongue.
My God, that elevates this from a frenzied attack to something deeply symbolic.
That's exactly how the police saw it. Forensics had to determine if this happened before or after death, but the intent was clear. DCI Metcalf directly connected the mutilation of the genitals and the tongue to the love triangle motive.
She said it was an act of shaming and destruction.
Right. It suggests Dinler wasn't just killing a rival. He was symbolically silencing him, stripping him of his masculinity. It's a final, vicious display of power that ties the motive and the method together perfectly.
So let's look at where things stand now. What about accountability?
Well, in October 2025, the accomplice, Ellie Cyprian Joseph, was convicted. He was jailed for 7 years for assisting an offender and preventing a lawful burial. So he paid a price for his choice to help.
But the main suspect, the man who allegedly carried out the murder and mutilation, Ceyhan Dinler, is still out there.
He is. He remains a fugitive. And Essex Police are, completely unwavering. They've said that the level of commitment they showed sorting through 1,500 tons of rubbish is the same level they're applying to finding him.
And there's an incentive to help find him.
A significant one. Crime Stoppers is offering a £10,000 reward for anonymous information that leads to his arrest. That reward expires on April 6, 2026, but the police message is very clear. They will not stop looking for him.
So when you take a step back, what this deep dive really shows you are two critical things. On one hand, you see the dark psychology of a crime where possessive rage turns into this symbolic, brutal violence.
Then on the other, you have a landmark case for police determination. It shows the meticulous, expensive, and sheer human grit required to get justice when a criminal tries to use the anonymity of our modern world like a landfill to hide their crime.
And it all comes back to the family's pain. Cumali's ex-partner, Brittany, just captured the heart of it when she asked, how am I going to tell my little girl one day that somebody took her daddy away and threw him in the bin?
That question just hangs over everything. And it leads us to our final thought. Dinler made a clean getaway, he left incredibly quickly, and he's still gone. But the police have publicly stated their commitment to finding him is absolute. It matches the intensity of that 47-day search.
Think about that for a second. What does it do to a person successfully escaping the immediate consequences, but having to live every single day knowing that a dedicated force is putting the same level of commitment into finding you as they did into sorting through 1,500 tons of garbage?
When police show they're willing to spend £250,000 a week to find evidence buried under a mountain of trash, how long really can accountability be avoided? That relentless pressure, it will just never ever stop.